Hey, family, peace and blessings. I know y'all haven't seen me on here in a minute, but I'm going to be back up with a whole bunch of new stuff. Sometimes in your life, you got to take time and get your health right. And so for the last year, I've been on dialysis and working on my health, but also been doing incredible work in like 5 different school districts. So I'm still here, y'all. I'm just kind of taking care of myself, but also still doing what I love because me working with young people is a passion. Um, I just wanted to come today, and I don't know who needs to really hear this, but I just felt like I want to come. I think it is really, really important for us to know the history. Um, I am a person where I don't necessarily believe in generic histories. Um, uh, Sacramento, my family came here in 1983. My father was a cross country truck driver for about 35 years. But within that time, he came back and forth to California and fell in love with Sacramento. And so at the time, we were living in Philly, and he thought it would be a great idea to bring his family out here from Philadelphia for a better life. You know what I mean? And when we came out here, it was right in the beginning of the crack era, right in the beginning of the crack era. And so it was a good thing. It was right in the beginning of the crack era. And my dad moved us to California. So let me explain something. When we moved to California, first of all, we're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So when we came from Philadelphia, my family, my dad's side from St. Helena, South Carolina, North Carolina, my mom's people from Virginia and outside of the country, but still black. Okay. So and so my ancestors made their way from Virginia, sorry, Fairfax County, Virginia, and the South, the deep South of the islands, the Carolinas, up to Pennsylvania. So along the way in my family, none of us in our family were mixed. And I want to make sure, because I think there has to be a way for people to uh, be seen in their original self. Like most people say they're mixed. That's great. I'm not one of those people. I know that I am not mixed. I know that my family are pure bloods. I'm not even gonna front on it. Like I don't claim things that are not mine. I looked at my family lineage, the histories, the pictures. People are blue black. Like let's keep it all the way a buck. And I'm very proud of that. You know what I mean? I celebrate that. And it doesn't take away from anybody else. It's just something that I'm proud of in my line because black people come in a lot of different shades, and not because they're mixed, but because that's a gene that black women have. Okay, that's one thing. But when we came to Sacramento, because I come from a line where in the East Coast, I remember doing drill team in the 70s. You know, the block was our home. People took care of each other. It was all of that. So there's always been people doing work even before I got here. I just came to the planet in 1971. You understand? So, I came to Sacramento. We also met some really cool people here because we came here right in the beginning of the crack era. So that was like 83. Crack didn't really show up to about 87 ish, 88 ish that I can remember, maybe early as 85. But I remember black people taking care of each other because we did not have nonprofits. And I think what people forget is that's why it means something when you say you're all black, that black people have always taken care of each other. Now we're not a monolith, so I'm not going to say all black people. I'm talking about the black community that I was in. You know, we took care of each other. Somebody was lost, somebody would look out for you. Somebody would make sure you made it home. You know, that's what I'm talking about when I say that. That's one thing. The second thing is the second thing is um we always did things in the black community, in the black community that I belong to help each other out and to look out for each other, because I had the fortunate opportunity to live in all black communities. When I lived in Philadelphia, everybody on the block was black. I don't remember no white people. If they existed, I didn't know. And then we came to Sacramento, and even though we had other kind of neighbors, black people still looked out for each other, the ones that we were around. So at the time, we really didn't have needs for nonprofits, to be very honest with you, because black people still had this accountability to each other. Now, that don't mean it wasn't in that same time people wasn't still smoking dope, robbing folks in gangs, raping people, mugging people, police brutality. All of that stuff existed. That stuff has always existed in the Black community. It's not something that just happened in 2015. Like, no, we've always had these issues in our community. We've been pretty hush hush about it, or we kind of moved away from it. You know what I'm saying? That's one. Second thing is, and in the 80s when crack really invaded our community. That's why history is important. I remember people like um oh God, Catherine Hall Trujillo, who I worked for at the Birthing Project. Here's a Black woman who worked at the state of California, did not like where Black women were going with having babies with drugs on board, came up with the brilliant idea to gather 9 women together and 1 man, and to match pregnant Black women with a community volunteer that she called a sister friend. Brilliant idea, right? Okay, I got to make sure that somebody said they couldn't hear me on this other back page. So hold on, let me see something here. Cause I gotta give y'all some history today, just a little bit. I know I ain't been on here in a minute. Okay, yeah. I gotta give y'all some history. Okay, good. There we go. Got it, y'all. Sorry about that. So, so she's one woman. There was Callie Corney. There was who ran WCIC. Did y'all know the history of WCIC and what those Black women did in the 40s and 50s? Like, see, people don't be knowing the history. You just can't show up in Sacramento and then say what the hell we ain't had. Know your history. Know your history. Because otherwise you'd be out here looking kind of like a hater. You'd be kind of looking jealous hearted. Like, you should know your history. My thing is, and I'll be the first to tell you, I've been mad at people. Hell yes, I have. I felt like I've been known wrong by people. But I don't put everybody in the bucket. I don't do that. I can say who I'm mad at. I can say the person's name. I could, I'm not going to lump everybody in the basket. There are different types of Black people here in Sacramento. You know what I mean? Some of them I get along with, some of them I don't, but I don't have to go speak bad about it because it ain't that damn deep. I am a member of the Sacramento Sister Circle. It is a network. It's a network. Like, you get on there, you network with people. I know Sister Christy Ketchum. I like her idea. That is her contribution to our struggle. Now, she ain't struggling the way you think she should struggle. And that's another thing. We got to stop telling Black people what make them Black. Like, I could talk about the Black that I am and what I think makes me a Black person and what I do as Black, but nobody can really tell me what my Black is because nobody walks around in my skin. Nobody but me. You know what I mean? I've had Black people who shitted on me, and I haven't had many white people shit on me because I don't be fooling with them like that. Like, it's weird. Like, thank God, I've been led to some pretty cool ass white people. You know what I mean? I don't work with white people that if they don't be right. Like, I don't even be in circles like that. Sometimes when you Black, you do be in circles with people that you really didn't want to be in circle with, but you end up in circle with them. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and even when people tell me who they are, I believe it. You know, I flat out the box believe it. So I feel like, and my mama taught me a lesson like, you know, if you're going to help somebody, just help them. I'm going to tell you something. I started working at the Birthing Project. Let me back up, because when I first started working at the Birthing Project came along in 1988 is when Catherine, she had already been doing the project. And then she got a grant from Sierra Health under, oh God, what's the guy's name? Man, it just flew out my head. I'm going to say Lynn McCandless or somebody. And he loved her concept. And so he decided to fund her concept. So he did. And so I worked for her. And it was me and her at one time, and like maybe her daughter Kenya, because Kenya was there before me. And here was a woman who, there wasn't a lot of nonprofits at that time. We're talking 1989. I think they incorporated in 1990 or something like that. And then his sister had the idea, and this is real builder, because see, Catherine's from the era, she's from the Black Panther era. She's from the 1960s, where Black people were due for selfers. See, she comes from that era. And I was blessed enough to be under people from that era. I was highly blessed to be under people who were due for self. Not begging for yourself, but due for self. I come from those people. So Catherine was like, we don't like the way they treat Black women. Our infant mortality isn't good. We don't like the way our women are when they go to the doctors. Let's build a clinic. Catherine had the brilliant idea to build a clinic. Now, mind you, I thought she was a little crazy. I'm going to be honest, because I didn't know, like, we could build clinics? Yeah, boo, we about to build this clinic. I've been working for people my whole life building clinics. We could build our own clinic. And she built her own clinic. Okay? That's why it pays to know your history, family. You got to know your history, because if you don't know your history, You'll be caught out there in one of these branches. Y'all hold on a minute. I gotta plug my computer in. Hold on. Is that on? I know. Okay, family, I'm back. Hold on. Get this computer some juice. Okay, family, I'm back. Hold on. Let me just make sure this thing is plugged in. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, excuse me. So that's why it pays to know history. So I had the fortunate opportunity to be around women, excuse me, like Catherine Hall Trujillo, like Callie Corney, like Edna Usuboye, like God, what's her name? Beautiful memory. I can see her face so clearly. Short elder, really long, beautiful hair. Damn. Oh my God. Miss Ida Senor. I could just go down the list. These were Black women that I had the opportunity to work with. Sister friend Betty Heard. Like I could just keep going down the list. These were women. These were Black women. Okay, because we've always had Black women leading the charge in our community. This ain't no new. This ain't no new phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? We've always been that person. But these are women who, when I looked into their background, because I've always been a young person who wanted to know the history. Where did y'all come from? Why are you here? They taught me that these are things that they had inspired to, that because they loved their people, they just did the work. They knew we needed a clinic, you get a clinic. We knew we needed child care and daycare, let's do it. Linda Parsons, the sister, built a charter school. I look, when it wasn't even popular, so I'm just saying this always been like this latest thing of having all these nonprofits. God bless y'all, but I feel like sometimes we'll be upset at something and then we don't know the history and then we talk in generic. I'm not a Black and brown person. I work with everybody, don't get it twisted, but my main concern is Black people and particularly Black girls and women. That's me. I'm not a feminist or nothing like that, but I know that the Black woman, she needs some individual attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we be out there fighting the fight. I'm not saying men aren't fighting the fight. I'm not saying that, because sometimes we say stuff and people hear the direct opposite. You know what I mean? No, but I feel like we got some real issues in our community in terms of, in some of our community. See, some people have stepped completely out of the matrix. They like, I'm not doing colorist Black folks. Colorism is, look, I've ran across more colorism in Sacramento than I have anywhere else. And what kills me is when people who are clearly mixed will be telling you if you're Black or not based upon some shit that they think makes you Black. And that to me kind of like, I don't be understand. I walk around every day in this skin. I'm a big Black woman. I can't be cussing out people. They body slam my big ass. Like, I don't think people understand that. So no, I'm not gonna be rah all up in people's faces. Who do you think I am? You think I'm a big ape or something? Like, where you get this concept at? Like, my thing is, if you're gonna say you with Black people or you're gonna be Black, just say what's true for you. But don't you dare put that on all of us. Know your history. And most of us don't know our history. So when you hear Black people talking about Black people ain't doing this, I be thinking to myself, where the hell you been? Because as long as I've been around, Black folks have been putting in work. Y'all, this year, every year I give this test to my peoples. Hey, Jamil. Hey, Alicia. Every day I give this test to my girls every year. And it has simple stuff on the test. And one of the tests asks the kids, what 3 things impacted the Black community? You can only circle 3, and it's about 6, 7 answers. And one of them is like the demise of the Black family, introduction of crack cocaine, prison industrial complex, man landing on the moon. It's like some stupid stuff in there. And a lot of the kids be like, they don't even know which one to pick. And I'm like, you can pick 3, because I go over it with them. And it's just really embarrassing. That's all I can say. It's just because it really says that we haven't really talked to our kids about what transpired. And it really means something to me that I always tell people, I lived in the crack era. I lived through the crack era. See, I remember when I was 19, 20 years old with Miss Catherine, my ex-boss, who's about 5 foot tall, going into the crack houses to pull out a woman and her baby. And I'm going to be flat up 100 with y'all. I was scared shitless. And Miss Catherine was like, just come on in here. Like, follow me. And I was like, oh my God. So those are the black. So this latest thing about first responders, y'all stop the fucking madness. We have been living in first responder land up in here. Not like I had to go get my education and I came back to be no. Most of our ancestors, we are first responders. Our life has been first responder. I was a foster care mom when I was 19. Because at my job, all the women had taken babies home already. And when they came to this last baby, who mama was white and her daddy was black, who would come to our place, Miss Catherine looked at me and said, Ro, you're going to have to take this baby home. And I was like, huh? Like, I'm 19. Like, what? I don't know nothing about no babies. And I took her home. And my mama, blessed memory, because my baby had failure to thrive. She couldn't keep no food down. My mama fed this when we took her back to the doctors like a month later, and she had gained hella weight. And the doctor said, what have you been feeding this baby? And I said, the stuff here on the list. And I had like shit they told me we were supposed to make her eat. And he said, it was a black doctor, blessed memory. He said, this could not be possible. What did y'all feed her? And I said, well, my mama gave her pot liquor, and my mama gave her mashed potatoes and eggs. And my mother had been that baby was so fat. So my thing is, because I couldn't, thank God for my mama, because she ended up staying at home with my mama because my mother was retired. And then I could just go catch the bus and go to work. I was a secretary at the time, like administrative assistant or something like that. So my thing is like, we got to stop the madness. Knowing your history, if you got a beef with somebody, take it to the person. One time I was on Facebook acting a goddamn fool, cussing out my sisters. I was on some. And an elder, blessed memory, Ia Colette, because she an ancestor now, she came right on here and said, get your ass off of here. You do not discuss business like that. That's not what you do. These are your sisters. You got your goddamn mind. And I got right off. I changed the subject, finished at the live, and got off. And so sometimes we have to say to people, if your feelings is hurt or whatever, take it to the person. Because we're going to talk black nationhood and black unity or whatever, I guess. We're going to talk sisterhood. Sisterhood is hard. You know what I mean? I'm in a lot of sisterhoods. And I have some people I'm so fucking tight with. But we've had dragged down arguments, like where I thought we was never going to speak again. They said, like, sis, you good? Yeah, I'm good, girl. You good? Because that's what family do. That's what sisterhood is. We ain't all going to agree. Me and Christy cool as hell. We have our disagreements. And then she be like, girl, okay, yeah, what we doing? Bam. Because my thing is, we'll do that to the devil who we see every day, who treat us like shit. And we'll be like, we're going to keep trying because we really want these people to love us. You can't even do that with people who you see every day. That's crazy. So, family, look, got issues with somebody, pick up the phone, go to their house, do what you always do. But my God, don't be saying shit, because this stuff on the internet, this shit is forever. Somebody trying to give you a grant and they hear the shit you said, they be like, You got to go. That's why you go talk to therapists. There's been times where I going off on people and then I had to see the person. This happened to me for real. Like, I cussed somebody out on this Facebook. I was so upset. And then my whole ego. Sometimes that's also your ego talking. Because when you hurt, sometimes it be your ego. That's your false sense of yourself. Ego will have you messed up. You know what I'm saying? Then I seen a woman like 2 years later and we hugged each other and cried and talked about it. And I apologized to her, but I said, I was just hurt. No, she said, you was right, Ro, and I should have did it. Bam. I couldn't have did that earlier because I think I wasn't mature enough to even get to that kind of level. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, man, I don't. And see, my thing is, this is just Londa. I don't think all of us is together. I ain't with every black person. We don't even all have the same history. I don't believe in generic histories. Some of our shit cross, and some of our stuff is like, no. Like my mama was old school, so she ain't let us do any and everything. Grateful for it. It used to get on my nerves, but now that as an adult, I'm so grateful my mother was strict on us. I'm so grateful. My mother didn't drink and she didn't smoke. And I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. Even when her and my dad was separated like 18 years, she never dated another man after my dad. And I was like, damn. She went to her grave loving my father. My dad got remarried. You see what I'm saying? So that was her example for us. You know what I'm saying? It was just that's how she braved the West. Because she was out here without family. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy. So yeah, we have a lot of nonprofits in Sacramento. Yes, we do. So what? So what? Like, so what? I'm not over here complaining. I'm happy that there are certain Black people who are in positions. God bless you. My God, because I know it ain't easy. See, what people don't understand about when you're really Black, not I'm a quarter Black. When you're really Black, people watch you differently. See, when you're really Black, sometimes people expect you should do shit because you Black. And then they don't feel like they owe you anything. Ain't that weird? Ain't that weird? Sometimes I'm leery of people who only respond to trauma. You know, you ever got that friend that call you and every time you talk to her, she got some kind of issue going on? I'll be like, girl, I'm busy. Sometimes I want to return your damn call because I don't want to hear what you get ready to tell me. Because right now I'm feeling good. I go to dialysis 3 days a week. That shit is hard, family. I walk up in there, hey, everybody, I'm in there chilling. You know, it's just my kidney. I'm in there with people on walkers and canes, people who, people lift them out of a machine and then put them in the chair. Look, I'm in there with geriatric people, y'all. Like, no, ain't gonna get twisted. And I come in there, hey, everybody, speak to everybody, smile at everybody. I don't have time for your nonsense. I don't have time for that. You know, I have great nephews that I adore. I have a new great niece that's coming next month. Look here. I want to see what becomes of them. I'm clearing the road for them. You can't clear the road with people with your trauma. You can't clear nothing. Aren't we tired of inheriting? All we got to leave is our trauma and our bills? Like, ain't y'all tired of that? I ain't got time to be complaining about who get money. Get money. Shit, get money. Do what you got to do. Hey, look. So what? So what? Look, I'm so grateful. I'm over here working my best life. I'm working. Man, I work. All my classes have been full when I'm teaching in school. Full classes. Look, young sisters love me. I'm so grateful. And I have a little bit of, I have all Black girls, but all different kind of Black girls. Some Black girls got white mamas. Some Black girls got Filipino mamas. I got kids from Africa in my class. Look, my classes be popping. And I talk about history. I try to break down the concept. These are middle school, high school. I break down some of the concepts that they're hearing and that they're using. Say, let me give you the origins of that. Because most times we do not do that. We do not break it down. We don't say, let me tell you what that word comes from. Let's look at that word. Look that word up. Let me tell you why we shouldn't be using that. Let me tell you why. And they'll be like, I didn't really know that, Miss Rose. I said, baby, I know you don't. Because we out here stuck on stupid. Let me tell you how I know that at least a quarter, if not even a third of Black people, if they dig in their family history, they got one ancestor that's from the Caribbean. Because Black people come in and we blend into each other. Because what we have in common is that we're all Black folks. I had one Black girl in my class at Burbank. Little sister come to my classes. I have about my classes at Burbank be so damn full, it'll be ridiculous. And she told me she was mixed. This was really cute. I love this story. And I said, well, what do you mean? She says, my father is from Kenya and my mother is Ethiopian. And I said, wow, what is that like? And so she's in a class full of black girls. There's about 30 black girls in the class. And she talked about the cultural difference. Like her mom's people, she know their stuff very well. Dad's people stuff is a little different, even though they have similarities. And then I said, well, how does that play when you're with African Americans? And she said, sometimes it's a little different because in my family, there's an expectation. Hold on. Hey. There's an expectation. You see what I'm saying? And she said, sometimes with some black kids, and she used the word some, she said, sometimes they don't have the same expectation or they'll look at me like I'm strange. And I started to explain to her the whole little history in the class. I talk about with my kids, I'll talk about, do y'all know what it was like in 1971? That's the year I was born because I love the 70s. And then I talk about what I remember as a little girl and how I grew up in a community where we call each other sister and bruh for real. And everybody's mom was your auntie or your mama. And you respected them as such. And then one girl said, well, what happened? How did we get to where we are right now? And I said, great question. So I started like breaking it down to them. You know what I mean? And you'd be amazed how kids be like, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I just feel like we gotta, I'm just leery of people who only work with you when you have a trauma. I'm just very, very leery. I feel like I just feel like people need to, it's okay to do the work, but I feel like if you're in an industry where you only get to come alive if it's a dead black body on the ground, and you only become activated if the killer of that dead black person is a white cop, you may want to check yourself. You just may want to check yourself. If you find yourself defending criminality, you may want to check yourself. Because in the black community, there's no justice for victims in some black communities. That's why some black people will take their chance moving next to the KKK. Because at least with them, you know what you're getting. Don't always work that way with black people. But I just feel like it's important to know the history and not the warped sense of history. Because see, we've always had crime where we killed each other up. But my thing is, just because you look like me doesn't mean I give you permission to kill me. We don't get to blame you killing me on white people when you're the person pulling the trigger. We don't get to blame, black femicide, which is happening every 5.5 hours. A black woman or girl is murdered by a black man or boy. Let's keep it all the way a buck. You can check the FBI stats. I have a friend who does the stats. This shit is real. And it used to be every 8 hours. In the last couple of years, went to every 5.5. But there's no outcry. There's no protest in the street because there's no white person in it. Some of us only become activated when there are only white people. And one of the things I learned about history is that there was these people called buffer race people. And their job was to be the buffer between black people and white people. And sometimes I look up and I see those buffer race people right now. And they're the ones that be trying to tell you if you're black enough. They're the ones who are trying to tell you just all kind of shit, like what we should be doing. Look here. When I work with my kids, I don't care if they're in foster care. I don't care if they're just a regular old kid. All kids need the same thing. And don't make an assumption because a kid is not in foster care that they don't need it. All kids need it. They need that guidance and love. They need you to smile upon them and look at them and see the good when they're not feeling good about themselves. And not the good where they come into your class and they're disruptive. But I'm talking about just greet every kid. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, beautiful. How you doing? That's what I do. That's what, those are the people I grew up around. I love that when an elder looked at me and said, hey, beautiful, how you doing again? And I could be looking a hot mess. And they would say, hey, gorgeous. And immediately you would just straighten up. Like, yes, ma'am, how you doing? Like your whole demeanor would change. And so I feel like some of us don't come from those people. Some of us do. Some of us are continuums. I am a continuum. I'm a descendant of May, who came from Alice, who came from Georgia, who came from Winnie, who was an enslaved African in Fairfax County, Virginia. She was born in 1817 and died in 1920. I know my whole history. And I stand, and I only ancestors I don't even know. But I don't generic 5 day struggle. I come from people who created something out of nothing. That's how I can look at anybody's child and know that they're my child. People think it's something magical. No, it's not. It's like being a human being with some compassion. Because I lived in that crack era. I've seen crack take people from being their best self to where they was a shell of themselves. I've seen some people crawl out of the gutter and got their kids back. I know people who are here without their parents because of crack, but they still went on living. And so no, we can't just talk shit about black people and do all this generic stuff. Like, you don't get to be no report card, but who the hell are you? The king of the jungle? What the fuck? Like, you don't know. You get to talk about your experience. You get to make an I statement and then say names and take it to your sister or brother. That's what you get to do. But you don't get to, we got to stop that. Sometimes I was like, ooh, some of us. I'll say some of us, or, these few. Or, I know black people, we're not a monolith. There's African Americans here. African Americans to me are people who are descendants of enslaved people. They Adolf's people. Then there are Caribbean Americans. June is Caribbean History Month or something like that. Awareness Month. Caribbean Awareness Month. I only heard one person tell me Happy Caribbean Awareness Month. Y'all done jumped all over to the flag people. Like, no. June is also Black Music Month. You know what I'm saying? So it's all of these things. And so it's like, yo, we got to do like a better job, family. Because here's the thing. We're demonstrating. I don't know what you're leaving in your continuum bag. You know what I'm saying? I need you to think about what you're leaving. I believe when I'm no longer on this planet as Rolanda, that somebody be looking at my videos, getting a little gleam, getting a little bit of wisdom. Sometimes I sit up in here and watch a lot of old black movies because they make me feel some way. Because I know what those things did to me growing up. I know what it was like to watch Get Christy Love. I know what it was like to watch Tamara Dotson and Cleopatra Jones. I knew what it was like to watch. What's the other beautiful chocolate sister? Oh my God, my brain, I can't even get it. It's another, she played in Cotton Come to Harlem, and Judy Pace. I watched all of those people growing up, and they inspired me. I mean, I could just go down a list. It was so many black women I watched on the black exploitation films, no matter what we thought about them. There was something about watching how they graced the screen and just the stuff that they did. It was a reflection. Seeing Mabel King, and Nell Carter. Because now we're talking about big black women who people want to be the spokesperson for. They can speak for themselves. But I love seeing Mabel King and Nell Carter because I felt like I was seeing a reflection of myself. Because I don't even see them today in black movies. I don't see them as love interests. I don't see them as loving mothers with husbands. I don't see any of that. And so when I'm working with my girls and I see them struggling with their identity because they're trying to be in a group that's going to be acceptable for them, but that's not really who they are, because we have a whole agenda that's being pushed and we're not making it available for them to learn how beautiful they are as themselves. So if you do want to be a mother one day, why we don't ever discuss that in class? Why we don't discuss what it takes for you to conceive a child? Why isn't that a part of class period? Because you got a womb, don't you? You got a sacred portal. Women have a sacred portal. They can bring somebody from one existence to the other. Right? So I just wanted to come y'all today. I know I ain't been on here in a while, and I'm gonna be gearing back up and get myself together. I'm going in 2 weeks to go visit my grandmother in North Carolina. She is 97. My dad's mother, 97. Hope I can glean some more information out of her. Because as I look at my last great nephew, who is 19 months or something like that. I don't know when you start counting with babies, but I want to make sure I have a whole lot to leave for him and his brother and everybody else. Like, let me tell you who we really are. And my grandmother, she got a journey. She picked cotton. She did all of that. She's from the deep South. You feel me? And she's 97. And she had 7 daughters and 1 son, which is my father. So it's just, I just, whew, if we're going to be out here in these California streets, if we're going to be on these internets and stuff and streets, then we got to like come with a strategy and a plan. And for God's sakes, when you mad at somebody, don't trash all of us. Shit, call that person out. Call them out. Stop being free entertainment for people. Because let me tell you something. This is Big Brother, Jack. Big Brother. This is Big Brother. Hey, Sister Alicia, I'm going to call you because I have an idea to run past you. You know what I'm saying? But this is Big Brother. And so if this stuff goes into an archive, it don't really get deleted. Let you ask, I don't know, somebody for some money and they say, I don't know if we should give you some money. You talk so much shit about us on the live. And then we're going to call that racism. But that's some shit you did on your own. That's some shit you did on your own. You did that. I didn't do that. So anyway, I just want to come to y'all and just say, know the history. Sacramento has a beautiful history. Black women in Sacramento have been getting it in for years. And I just want to say their names. Some of them are still here. Some of them are ancestors. But I was so grateful. So grateful. Hey, Sister Michelle. So grateful that I had a chance to work with them, be with them. Let me just show you how dope Black women are. When we had them LA riots in the 90s, Rodney King got beat or whatever. No, they beat his ass basically in the street like he was a dog. It was horrible. You know, I was with a group of Black women who went to the Capitol to make sure that they was meeting with some of the sisters who worked in the Capitol. Tell y'all how y'all don't be knowing your goddamn history. To basically gather up funds. They was pulling their resources, family, to take baby formula and diapers and supplies into LA to make sure women had access to that stuff. But you don't know shit about that. You hear me? In Sacramento, when I was sitting at my computer watching a pregnant Black woman jump out of the window in the Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and I was at my computer bawling. Like, what are we going to do? I was so upset. And as I was sitting there crying and praying, my boss called and said, get your stuff together. We flying to Arkansas. We driving into New Orleans. And I was like, what? I typed up my desk and got, look here. So I was there in Arkansas at some racist ass white woman house at the Forsyth building, the plantation, wherever it was we were staying at, who called herself being a friend to civil rights. This woman was just as racist as the most racist person. That's ain't gonna tell me about Biden. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna tell me about these people because I know them. And I remember when this woman tried to tell me and Miss Catherine that Mr. Forsyth built this house. And my boss said, you a damn lie. Enslaved people built this house. Right in Arkansas in Hurricane Alley. You got to tell me about my damn history. I don't get to sit up there and act like Black folks ain't been delivering. Who do you think you're talking to? See, my thing is when you don't get to be where you want to be, you don't get to shit on people for being where they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear nothing about Beyonce. I want to know about her. Let her live her life. That's on Beyonce. Why are you so damn concerned with her? Shit, you want to go shake your ass? Go shake your ass. But don't get mad at her. Don't get mad at people because they successful. Because you was praising them up when they was out there slinging crack and killing and tearing out our whole community. Y'all was celebrating. Y'all celebrating now. Y'all watch Power and all them damn films about people moving weight and tearing down our community, which tells people that y'all don't think you're never gonna see no movie about Jewish people helping Hitler kill Jews and all the Jewish people go watch it. You're never gonna see that. But in the Black community, you could definitely see 1,000 stories about the crack era and how people had to move weight and, you know, how they treated our community and broke up families and all the stuff that people saved their money for their whole life to buy a house, and their kids gave it away like it was water, like free water. That says something about us, family. And now these same criminals are mad because the shit ain't going like it was in the crack era. Now some of them is mad. But I've got some news for you. I'm the one who worked with people when I talk about the crack era, and I have like a half of my class talk about they have family in prison, some to this day behind crack. I got people who parents was on crack. I mean, I could just go down the list. I go down the list. I always have girls in my class. We talk about that. Have your family been impacted by the crack war? And I break it down. Yeah, my grandma, my uncle, my aunt, damn. So, girl, please don't get me started. Please don't. So my thing is, look, but I also know in the midst of all of that chaos, we was getting the work in. Let me say that again. In the midst of the chaos, we was putting work in. That's what you got up here. I know people who adopted people's children, who fed people, who put beans on the stove, took some next door. I know people in people families, as you know, they had families and they didn't even relate to family. This is my cousin so-and-so. How y'all related? Girl, I don't know. They came to our house one day and never went home. Don't you tell me about Black folks. Now, just because some of y'all feel like there's a hierarchy, maybe there is. I'm not a part of that. That's why I'll be over here working. I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for that. I got to get my work done. So, family, y'all got me up on the cert box. I got to get up out of here. But all I want to come and say, y'all know your history. If you live in a place, go to the library. Research. You can do it on your computer now. Do some research. And for God's sakes, when you come into a city, peace and blessings, sis. When you come into a city, know the history. When I travel, I don't show up and be like, well, what's going on here? Which these niggas ain't doing nothing. I'm never doing that. I was like, wow, who was here before me? What's the history of this place? Where the people at? What's the historical part? I research stuff. But my God, people do that a lot in Sacramento. There's always some Negroes, and no disrespect from nobody, but sometimes they be coming up from the Bay, and they be like, and then you check their history in the Bay, it's like, you was a what in the Bay? Get the hell out of here. Like, how dare you? You need to go back and fix your community. But it's like, don't come up here and do that. Sometimes y'all be passing streets and you don't even know the history of what happened on that street. You don't even know what's right there. You don't know what people did right there. My God, stop the madness. Know your history. And again, I'm going to say this, if you mad at somebody, because I feel like somebody needs to hear this, stop making big announcements. Just go talk to the person. Roll up on their house. What can they do? They ain't going to shoot you. No, really, they probably not going to shoot you. They may cuss your ass out. But after that, look, that's a part of the human emotion sometimes to cuss somebody out. That also takes your blood pressure down sometimes. But what I'm saying to you is, look, family, like if y'all really going, just do it. That's all I can say. I just feel like, man, like it ain't that deep, family. It really ain't that deep. Time is short. Last thing before I get up out of here, there's so many things happening in the world. Every day there's new people coming into the U.S. What do you think that means for you? Because they barely got recent. Y'all see all these homeless people on the sidewalk and shit? This shit don't look like Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome to y'all? Huh? Like, what's your opinion? Y'all out here worried about some goddamn boogeyman. Look here, I ain't afraid of no goddamn Trump. The fuck? I've been living with Trumps my whole life. Like, we out here got people scaring black people on the vote. Hey, let me tell you something. You have already been through the worst. That's why we're here. When you read your history, you'll know that this part we could do, this could be rather simple. Because we already been through the worst already. What are you talking about? You got to do your part to carry on. But if you're lazy as hell, you may believe the fear. Because only lazy people believe fear. People who get the work in, I could work in a clan, I could work with a Klans member and get my goddamn job done. And not even trip off him. You know what I'm saying? But most of us, that's a whole other conversation. I'm saying watch the time. There's wars going on all over the country, all over the world. There's wars going on. And I don't hear black people talking about none of that. I'll be trying to keep up on things that's happening in Africa if I'm not talking to people, because I know a lot of people. But my God, like, do we have an Africa news channel? Do we have a black news channel? Because I have to piece stuff together. That's a lot of listening. I listen to a lot of stuff while I'm working. But y'all got to know what's going on. Why is it that we giving billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine and they fighting over in Africa? Why we don't talk about that war? Democracy now. You know, and these people are supposed to be our friends. They're not really your friends. Both of them are our enemy. Black folks better wake up. Both of these people are our enemy. Right, clean water to drink. You ain't never lied. Look here. And we be up here complaining about eggs. Oh my God, eggs are so expensive. Girl, don't you got grass? I got a little garden on the side of my house. I bought a piece of property. I got 2 little slabs of gardens over here. Yeah, the bombing in Ethiopia. Sis, I couldn't even remember because, you know, I'm trying to, but they don't talk about that. They won't talk about how a transgender person became Woman of the Year. I'm like, damn, we've been women our whole lives. We barely just got here. That's a whole nother goddamn story. And I'm not dissing nobody, but just the shit that they think is important, not important to me. If you want to use the bathroom, take your ass in there and pee. Sometimes I go to the men's bathroom. I'm in the airport and I got to pee and the line is long. I'll be like, oh my God, ain't nobody in the men's bathroom. It's stinking there, but I go in there and pee and get my ass out. It ain't that deep. I don't want to make an announcement. I just got to pee. But this shit is crazy. There are things happening all over the world right now. I seen a report about how women get taken in from over to Italy and Germany. And this video had my stomach like in knots. They beat this woman so bad because she went prostitute. I don't hear none of this on the news. Thank God for Vice News, who just closed down. How are we going to ever know these stories? Not to mention the stuff that's happening here in our own country. So no, I don't have time to be running, to be ambulance chasing. That's not my job anyway. I'm not an ambulance chaser. I don't do that. I help girls where they are. I have girls from all walks of life. But my thing is, I'm not going to be chasing after, like, you know, I'm not an ambulance chaser. I don't care about that. I don't run to the fight, honey. I don't do that. I go somewhere and it get thick, gotta go. Because sometimes we forget that karma lives. Some of us, we know what this shit is about. And instead of us being honest with people, period, we don't be honest. Yeah, Vice News, honey, they went out of business, honey. They had to downsize their stuff because I guess they're not making enough money. Because they do really good reporting. You know? They do really good reporting. And I've been also watching Ritual with Ariel Tank from Tank and the Bangers. She is, oh my God, it's on PBS, but you can see it on YouTube. So she's been documenting Black culture, which I love. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, we got to know the history, because if you do not know your history, and I ain't talking about the generic history. Everybody, we're all from Egypt. Get the hell out of here. Look, who is your family? How did you get here? How did you come to Sacramento? How did you come to California? Why are you here? Don't nobody give a damn about your high cheekbones. Who are you? What's your mission? Why are you here? Those are the things you have to ask yourself. So, family, I got to get out of here. I got to go to a graduation dinner. And they probably almost finished. But I had to come on here, y'all, and just kind of talk to y'all. One of the things that I want to do is I want to revamp my Sunday Sitting with Sisters over the summer. because my health has been great. And for those of you who don't know, I've been on dialysis for like a year. And now I'm getting ready to have a tummy tuck because that's a part of the procedure before I get the new kidney. And I'm gonna tell you something, y'all. I feel amazing, and I feel very blessed every time I go dialysis 3 days a week. And when I'm in there, I'm in with people who are in wheelchairs and can barely walk and on oxygen tanks, and I just come walking in there like this. So I know that I'm blessed. You heard? I know that I'm highly favored. I know my ancestors is walking with me. I only got this thing in my eye because I had like a little surgery because my eye is great, but they were just trying to make sure that everything is good. I feel amazing. I'm so grateful and so thankful. And I still get to do what I love. I still get to take care of my family. I was able to buy a house. I was able to do a whole bunch of shit. Today I came out of dialysis and somebody had broke my window on the side of my driver's side, and I wasn't even upset. I just said, "Oh damn, there go my morning." Like I joked about it. They came out and helped me clean it up, and all they're gonna run the tapes and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what the hell happened. And then the one lady said, "God, you're such great spirits." I said, "Girl, cause this ain't shit. I'm grateful. So what? Somebody bust my window. So what? They ain't get shit. There's nothing in the car. They ain't even touched nothing in the car. They ain't touched nothing in the car. Change, money, everything's still sitting right there." So I'm like, I know that I'm highly favored in the universe. Why you playing? I'm to the part of my life where I'm just like, whoo, 52, here I come. Because my mama didn't, she made it to 52 and was out of here. Her mama made it to 52. I'm making it to 52 and beyond. I ain't got time for the bullshit. Just ain't got time for it. But I feel like I can impart some wisdom because how I got to be who I am is because I had a lot of awesome elders in my life checking me along the way, loving me along the way, let me know what time it is. And most importantly, they gave me the history. So there's no way I can look at another Black person and say, "Let me tell you what you ain't doing." I will never say nothing like that. Because I don't know your life. I don't know how you walk around on the planet. Shoot. Thank you, bro. Thank you, nephew. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even got time for none of that. And I'm going to say this and I got to go. I have a great nephew. He's so adorable. I have two great nephews. I have a lot of great nephews. But two of them, they live with me. They live with me. But one of them is like 19 months, whatever. And he's learned how to call me auntie. So he came in the house today and I was in my room doing whatever because we all live in the house that I brought. And he said, "Hey, auntie. Auntie." He just started banging on my door. And I was like, "Oh, Lord." So I had to let him in. And he said, "Hey, auntie." And he just sat there. And every time I look at him, I'm like, and my ancestors smiling on me. I got this. I got this. I'm so very grateful. Y'all, thank you for taking time to hear me today. And I'm just saying, know your history. Because a lot of sacrifice happened for us to be here who we are right now in this moment. Know your history, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace. Bye.